Hey folks, having a go at something a bit new today, something I haven't tried before. I'm going to be making Boerewors, good South African sausage, and the inspiration for this came from my mate Wayne. Cheers man. We were out on a camping trip about this time last year, poking around for a few deer, and he made me a beautiful Boerewors, which is something I hadn't had before. I hadn't had beautiful maize meal, a massive staple in Africa, with delicious Boerewors sausage on top of it, and a fantastic tomato onion sauce. And I want to try and replicate all of that today. The Boerewors I'm making today want to be 2 parts venison. That's going to be the buck that I shot with my bow this last rut, and 1 part fatty lamb. Using that lamb, this is a home kill lamb. I actually took it off the same property that I clanged my buck on, which is cool. I like that combination. The lamb is obviously there to get the fat ratio. So most Boerewors recipes that I see are often beef mixed with pork fat. I'm sure pork fat's delicious. I just really want to try a combination of both these meats, which I've had a go of harvesting myself. So over the years on Aussie Bush Harvest, I have done a few different sausage recipes, salami recipes and the like. Kranski's was the last one I had a go of. So some of you will be familiar with this, but I'll just run over some very basic things with sausage making, just so that any beginners don't miss out on the fundamentals. I've got my meat here, which is still semi-frozen. I've allowed it to defrost, but not completely. Keeping things cold is the absolute key to this process. And when I talk about cold, I'm not just talking about keeping the meat as cold as possible, I'm talking about all the parts of the mincer too. And very excited to use my brand new mincer here. All the extra attachments for this mincer are just in the freezer right now. I want to keep them as cold as possible right up until the start of work. Now a larger part of that is that mincers, they create friction. So you want to do this whenever you're doing any form of sausage making, or even just, you know, mincing for some spaghetti bolognese on a weeknight. They'll warm up very quickly, and you want to make sure that the meat has that cold consistency. Like if any of the fat, for example, warms up too much, you don't have a grind there anymore. You've got melted fat. Your sausages will not stuff properly if you've got that consistency. So that's something that you really want to be mindful of. Before I kick off into things, I'm going to just get all the meat cut up into very workable strips that are going to go straight into the top of the mincer head easily and efficiently. And then I'm going to just double check all my meat ratios so that I can also get the right ratios of the other ingredients and the spices in the mix and all of that. You'll also notice that we're using a very coarse grinding plate here, which, you know, compared to other ones that you can get for a finer grade of sausage, but these are really good for the likes of salami, and yeah, the consistency of Boerewors is supposed to be quite a coarse grind, and so there's a lot of texture in this. Now, I've got natural casings here, what we call hog casings, 30mm diameter. I'm going to just get some water onto them to wash all that salt off, because they stay preserved in salt. That's how you get them, either online or from the shop. Just off, what I'm also doing is just getting a line of water straight down the middle of the opening to flush out the inside like that. Come on, there we go. Oh, here we go. And as you do that, that'll find its way through the entire casing, flushed out on the inside like that, and then working backwards because we don't need air in there, any excessive air. Now for today's session, I'll be attaching a sausage nozzle to the actual mincer itself. That's obviously once we've done the mincing process. It's going to take the plate out and we'll interchange it with this. Now in some of my other videos, guys, you would have seen me use an actual sausage pump, and look, they're a great piece of infrastructure, they really are. But how much do you want to buy when you're getting into this? It all depends on each different person. For some people, they'll be wanting to pump out many hundreds of sausages every year, and getting a sausage pump might be a good investment for you. If you're only able to go out hunting, for example, a couple of weekends a year, and getting even just 1 fallow doe is a real big win for you, which is only X amount of meat, you might only need 1 unit, because if the unit can do multiple tasks, mincing as well as stuffing, that could be a better investment for you. So it all depends about you working out the economies of scale how much you want to do. And in the long run, if you're starting to do more than what one mincer can pump out for you, you might get a sausage pump yourself. That's for you to work out. So yeah, new mincer. Grabbing handfuls, just loading it up the top here so I can keep a steady stream coming down. You can see that different colour coming through, alternating lamb to venison. Really rich dark colour on the venison. So all of this has come to 2.6 kilos. And actually it's a little bit less than I anticipated, is what it is. I'm going to be very interested to see not just what the ratios are with the spices and the ingredients, but how much this will then fill out in terms of length of sausage casing. And it just helps planning in the future, you know, if I'm going to do a 4 kilo batch next time, how much Boerewors will that actually get me, if you know what I mean. Now, in researching how to do this recipe and getting multiple opinions and doing a bit of Googling on it, there is a lot of ways to make Boerewors and a whole bunch of different flavour profiles. I realise a lot of people like to put their signature flavour in their own Boerewors if they're making it. I want to try and keep it simple and keep it back to some original flavours which I've noticed in a lot of different recipes and what I've had recommended. The most basic one is ground coriander seeds. Now that's not the same flavour as you get in the leaf coriander. Different animal, so please don't judge it too hard. If you've enjoyed biltong that's been ever made in a traditional sense, it's had this on it. It's a fantastic flavour. Something that I haven't used much in my time, except maybe had it in the odd curry once or twice, is ground cloves. I'm excited to let that flavour come through, so I won't add a heap of extra flavours or too much spice to the mix, because I really want to know what that tastes like before I experiment with different Boerewors recipes myself. I'm going to put apple cider vinegar in this. I've seen a lot with malt vinegar in a lot of recipes, but I've got this in the house and I want to see what that tastes like. A splash of apple cider vinegar in it. And Worcestershire sauce, black pepper, and of course salt. Now, getting that salt ratio right could take a bit of tweaking, but the easiest way for me to work that out is once I've finished my mix, is just to take a little bit and fry it off and just see how that works. Best to go less salt before more, because you can always add more salt. Almost impossible to withdraw salt from the mix. So that's how I'm going to approach this. Alrighty, time to get stuck in. Going slightly lower on the ratios because I can always add more. Decided for this mix, which is approximately 2.5 kilos of meat, I'm going to go 2 tablespoons of salt. Evenly spreading that all through. The more evenly I spread the spices, the less worry there'll be about getting it fully mixed through. Now for the coriander, it's just less than a tablespoon there. Half a tablespoon of the clove. Again, being restrained with flavours that I'm unfamiliar with. Pepper. It's almost a tablespoon of that. Alrighty, action stations. Now I'm going to do this for a good couple of minutes, good solid couple of minutes, just to make sure everything's just completely shifted through. Knowing that what was on the bottom, you know, hasn't received a lot of the spice mix yet. So flipping as well as just shifting through the fingers like that. Folks, we're almost at pump time, almost ready to mount out these casings onto the tube. Before I do that, I want to say a big thank you to Carnivore Collective. Guys, this is a number 8 mincer from Carnivore Collective that they've been so kind to send me. It's an extremely high quality piece of gear that's probably going to see me through the rest of my game meat life. I honestly think that, just the high quality components and the like. It's going to see a lot of use though, so I'll put that one to the test. Folks, their support for Aussie Bush Harvest doesn't end here. They've been kind enough to offer all Aussie Bush Harvest viewers a discount code. If you put in ABH5 into any online purchases from Carnivore Collective, you'll get 5% off the entire range that you'll see online. Not just that, there's a kickback for every purchase that comes back to the channel. So folks, if you are keen to support Aussie Bush Harvest and equip yourself with some very high quality game processing gear, also DIY salami making sausage kits, the works, check out Carnivore Collective online and use ABH5 to get yourself 5% off. Biggest cheers to Carnivore Collective. Okay, before running the casings on, I always just put a little bit of olive oil on like that. Just helps to keep the process nice and smooth. So just trying to get the end primed. Good strong overhand knot. Back to the start again. Oh, we're in business. Lazy Sunday morning, just a few days after, so it's had a nice time to sit in the fridge, cryovac, infuse. This is heated up nicely. I've got the pup on the stove inside and I'm going to put this on, get a sauce happening, and they should all come together at the same time. Trying to keep it all together. Oh, nice. Now we're talking ripper. There you have it, folks. Pup and Vorse. This is what I would describe as pure soul food. Unbelievably filling. pup itself has been a revelation to me. Wayne, biggest cheers, you're responsible for that. As for the actual Boerewors itself, the flavour's absolutely delicious. The main flavour that comes through with the Boerewors is the cloves. There's a delicious flavour. You know, I love that. I think next time I'll definitely try with pork fat. Using lamb fat's been alright, but I think I'd like to try with pork fat. I think it'd be just a little bit of a different consistency and all that. Just another idea to try, folks. On Bush Harvest, all I'm trying to do is not be some pro cook, it's just to try and give ideas. Just ideas and borrowing from different cuisines from around the world. Never tried South African before, and I'm so glad I have. Folks, if you're keen to see how I got the key ingredient to this recipe, I'll leave a link up to the bow hunt where I took the buck involved, and there's also another recipe to some kranskis that I knocked into a paella with yabbies, and here's a link for that as well. Otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. Keep it natural.